Hello friends, welcome back to Dark Souls 2. I am Sarah Stampede, and you'll probably notice things are moving just a little bit quicker than normal. So we had a little bit of difficulty. I use OBS to record my episodes, and I was recently setting up a Twitch stream to kind of go along with my Let's Plays here, so that sometimes in the evening, if I'm not looking to record and I don't have the entire house all kind of quiet for me, to be able to do so, I can stream some other games instead. Maybe kind of cross pollinate with Twitch a little bit. Some of my YouTube viewers may want to watch me on Twitch. Some of my Twitch viewers may want to watch me on YouTube. That sort of thing. So I was setting that up in OBS. And I had to tweak a couple of the settings in the Advanced Settings tab, and I didn't realize that when I set it from Basic Settings to Advanced Settings, that it was going to essentially reset all of my recording settings. So consequently, it recorded it in this really bad file format, and there was all sorts of drop frames and audio desyncs and such like that. So the last 5 episodes that I recorded were pretty much useless. So what I was able to do, though, is I was able to convert over some of the video. I was able to, if you speed it up, you don't notice all the drop frames, and obviously I've clipped all of the audio out of it as well, because the audio, like I said, was completely desynced from it. So what I'm going to be doing instead for this episode is you can kind of watch what's going on. I'm going through the Shrine of Amana right now, and I'll just kind of give you my condensed thoughts on things. I've got some thoughts on the Shrine of Amana. Later on, we'll get to the Undead Crypt and all the spookiness that happened there as well. So a couple things that happened off camera, as I usually start my videos with. We traded in all the smooth and silky stones and the petrified somethings that we had. We got the Channeler's Trident, which looks like it's a really fun weapon for PvP. I actually had the Channeler's Trident used against me. If you remember when I was in Harvest Valley, I got invaded a couple times by a pyromancer, and he was using one of those things. He had it loaded up with poison, and he kind of did that spin attack with it, and that really poisoned me very quickly. I don't know if I'm going to be engaging in a whole heck of a lot of PvP in this game, but it's nice to have that in my back pocket. It's also a spear weapon, so it's kind of fun. The other thing was I picked up a while ago. I picked up an old whip, and it takes Twinkling Titanite to upgrade, and the Archdrakes in here are dropping Twinkling Titanite occasionally. So as I'm killing them, some of the commentary I was making during the time was that I was pretty excited about that because I really wanted to upgrade that whip. I understand they've got very low durability, and I'm not really a pure dex build anymore, which is really what those whips are built for. But I'm a huge fan of the Castlevania series, so you told me I can use a whip, and I think that's kind of cool. But it might also make a nice sidearm if possibly my hide spear is not doing well. If something is immune to lightning, I might be able to pull that out instead and do some good with it. I don't know yet, but it's something to spend my Twinkling Titanite on. I also got my bow up to +10 lightning enchanted, so it kind of kicks butt right now, and you will see me there in the background using it quite a bit. Which kind of leads me into my thoughts on the Shrine of Amana here. First off, it is an absolutely beautiful zone. I really, really like, in spite of, I think, a popular opinion that water levels are absolute crap, I happen to really like water levels. I think the whole sunken ruins thing is absolutely my aesthetic, and I've greatly enjoyed the zone. The glowing blue flowers as well. It really added a really nice touch. It kind of gave me a lot of memories of Blackreach from Skyrim, for those of you who's played that game. If you kind of, replace the flowers with glowing mushrooms instead, it's got a very Blackreach feel to it, which I really enjoyed. The eerie singing of the Milfinito throughout the entire level was really added that really spooky touch to it, and really made it kind of both haunting and beautiful at the same time. I was very, I suppose, unimpressed with the zone. I had avoided spoilers as far as, this is here, or you should go there, or you'll fight this enemy, or whatever. Any sort of walkthrough-ish spoilers. But what I did grasp from vague discussion of the area is that, people kept saying, oh, well, have fun at Shrine of Amana, that's when the game really gets hard. And I was kind of wondering what they were all talking about, right up to the second bonfire. And I think the second bonfire is really where this zone kind of gets real, because that's when they start throwing all of the caster archdrakes at you. And as you're kind of going in to try to kill the caster archdrakes, you start getting jumped by all of the little runner ghoul raptor guys. And they start coming up out of the water, and I found myself in a tight spot more than once when I just tried to run down one of the casters. You will see me there in the background, using my bow quite a bit just to snipe people off. And this is why I say that the upgrade of my bow was a great segue into my thoughts on this, because honestly, I don't know how people would do this zone without a ranged weapon of some sort, especially a bow where you can carefully take aim from a great range, I can imagine if you were a caster, you may want to pull out the binoculars and see if you can cast from range, and just kind of spell snipe that way, but you're certainly not in close enough to get any sort of target lock on these guys. So using the hard sights on your bow is about the only way I can imagine to really pick off those casters one at a time and get really anything done in here. Going into this zone that this is the third bonfire that we're lighting right here. There's a summon here for Felicia the Brave, and I was really thankful to have her with me here because these guys started spitting acid all over the place. You'll notice that I got a couple of my second dragon ring broke almost instantly upon going in to try to kill that thing, and I could have picked it off with a bunch of things, but Felicia just kind of charged in there and just took care of the job for me. The Demon of Song, which is coming up after we clear this room here, is I think a really cool boss design. The game teaches you things, really kind of all games teach you their own mechanics. They teach you how they want the game to be played. And I think every boss up until this point has kind of taught you that if you kind of jump behind the boss and you can just kind of get behind them, they'll do these big, broad, sweeping attacks that will destroy everything in front of them, but as long as you're behind them, you're okay. So if you can just kind of dodge around, get behind, just plug them in the butt a couple times, and you're good. And Demon of Song, I think, really turned that whole mechanic on its head, because now you've got a boss that does these big sweeping attacks in front of it and dribbles you like a basketball. I think you'll see that pretty soon right here. Picks me up and slams me up against the ground right there. And you'll definitely find that I have some difficulty with this at this point, because I'm trying to kind of get around and trying to kind of poke in from an angle around the side, but at the same time not be in front. And this is the boss that says, no, you're not going to be able to do that this time. You're going to need to stand in front of the boss, and that's where he can hit you. So have fun with that. This is, to date, the only boss that I have ever beaten with only a bow. I threw a couple lightning bolts at him. Felicia the Brave got in there before she bit the big one, because she didn't really understand how to dodge. She always felt like she needed to charge right in and didn't have a ranged weapon or anything like that. She had a lance, which was pretty cool. Does a lot of damage, but she dies pretty quick here, you'll notice. And all the rest of this was basically just me trying to kind of move in a little bit, bait out the attack, so that rather than doing the ranged attack, Demon of Song would do her or hits or its melee attack, And then as the arms come out, you kind of just step back just far enough away that you're not going to get hit by it. Plug her with about 5 arrows or so, and rinse, lather, repeat. Dodge as she comes, bait out the melee attack, and then back up far enough that you can plug it with more arrows. And after that, it was kind of formulaic. Once again, really happy that I got my lightning bow up to plus 10. And pretty easily able to clear that out. Now she does drop the key to the embedded, which is that creepy Silent Hill monstrosity back at Drangleic Castle. So at this point, now that I've got that key, that's kind of where I didn't actually see the second exit to the thing. So at this point, I run back, I level up, I spend my spells, my souls, and then I head back to Drangleic Castle, where I hopped up there. I thought that was definitely going to be the way that we progress. I recognized that this was a Milfinito that was locked in the cage, and thought, you know, that she did refer to herself in the plural. So I thought, well, maybe once I reunite her with her sisters, or whatever they are, maybe one sort of collective being split into multiple personages. I'm not really sure. But I kind of thought that was going to be my my cue, or, you know, something that's going to advance the plot here. So, nothing happened when I released the Milfinito. She just kind of screamed and sang. So I went back to the Shrine of Amana and talked to the other Milfinito and said, hey, you know, I set your sister free. And she was really thankful. She gave me a divine blessing, but that was about it. And then I spoke to her again. She was also very thankful that we had killed the demon of song, gave us another divine blessing, but that was all there was. And that left me a little bit confused here. So, at this point, we do head back to Drangleic Castle, thinking maybe I missed something up in the cage. We take the long elevator ride back up, and we just kind of stand in the cage a little bit confused. We read some item descriptions. And ultimately, we come out of this empty-handed. So we're going to, at this point, head back to the Shrine of Amana, and that's when we find the second exit from Demon of Song's area. But of course, now that we've left the bonfire, we have to go back through all of this stuff again. And we're not human this time, I don't believe. So, oh no, I guess we are. We don't summon, so we don't summon Felicia, because I think since we killed the boss, her summon sign isn't there anymore. Just more bow sniping. It gets aggravating pretty quickly. But slowly but surely, we do whittle our way back through these guys. Kind of bait them out a little bit. Still take a little bit of damage. Trying to dodge in and out. But they're pretty relentless when they get in there, the melee ones. Dodge a couple spells here. Get in. Kill that guy. We'll light up a torch, just mostly because we're so, you know, maybe we're looking at someplace that you have to light a sconce to get through. That's where we find the second entrance here. Now there is this tower. I do have yet to come back and really explore this, but you know, we find these magic bolts here. We use a fragrant branch of yore to get inside, seeing the bonfire on the other side, so we light that. And then upstairs, no, it's going to happen very quickly, but all these messages are basically telling me that I need to be hollow to be able to open this door. So as I'm human, and I don't really want to kind of throw my life away just to be able to open that door, I just kind of mark it since it's right in front of the bonfire, and we'll come back to it later. Land a parry right there, so I'm pretty proud of myself. And put him down. And now we're gonna head down this long elevator, and we are on into the Undead Crypt. Now right here, the big shambling mound bursts out at me, and I'm a little bit disappointed that we missed the audio from this, because I start yelling at him very angrily for jumping out at me like that. And he scared the living pants off of me. So he basically spends this time asking me why I'm doing what I'm doing. And, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have a better answer other than it's better than not moving forward and waiting to go hollow. Trying is better than idleness. So I've tried and I've gotten this far, so we'll see where this goes. And maybe if I talk to the king, we get some answers. So, as far as my thoughts on the Undead Crypt, it was a shorter zone, but honestly, it was a really cool zone. I very much liked it. I liked that there was an incentive not to bring light into this incredibly dark place. Every other place has kind of rewarded you for lighting it up, and this one outright tells you, with Agdane, outright tells you, no, snuff the light. No good comes from that. That this place does not like light. Now, on my first way through here, up to where we do find Velstadt and King Vendrick, spoiler alert, for about 5 minutes in the future, I abided by that. I didn't bring any light in here, and we kind of did this all in the dark. There was even a place there's a torch sconce just a little bit further forward, and I didn't go back and do any of that. We do summon forth here a little bit of help. This is Devotee Scarlet, I believe, and it was just nice to have her kind of at my side. We ran through Earthen Peak together, so it was cool seeing her again. I like the continuation of these NPCs. Here we run into Agdane. He is a full-on edgelord 9001. After this episode, I did actually end up going back and talking to him. He gives me all his clothes and his invisible katana, which I thought was pretty cool. So super edgelord gear there. Let's see here. He was kind of a dick to me, though, so the dialogue you're missing here is basically me saying that I don't like him very much. Now, as we kind of go in forward here, you're gonna see some graveyard area that we're gonna be going into. And the thing I really liked about this, I really liked the bell ringing mechanic that goes on in here. There are these various bells throughout here, and if you hit them, or if one of these zombies hits them, then it starts summoning all these almost like Grim Reaper sort of Graveguard guys. And I thought that was a really, really cool mechanic, you know? As long as you're quiet and don't disturb the dead, then everything is real chill. But I think it's coming up right about here. So where I take a swing at something, and I think I was just trying to break a tombstone, and I accidentally hit one, and then all of a sudden now I've got these grave guys coming out at me, and they're a little relentless, they're a little intense. So it really made for a kind of, you know, creep through, kill a zombie, break some tombstones, kill a zombie, and really made it for kind of a hair-raising situation. And like I said, it kind of also teaches you the mechanic, because this becomes important as you go into the chamber leading up to Velstadt and the king. Now as for the fight with Velstadt, it was a fun, if formulaic, fight. I think I really enjoyed it more because of the lore implications of who I was fighting and why I was fighting them, rather than really anything else. Like I said, it was kind of formulaic. I mean, we've really seen the big dude in armor with giant mace fight before. We've really done that. No, like I said, later on I did go back and I did bring a torch in. I did light the place up, so we got to kind of see what happens if you disobey them, and you bring fire into here. So, it created a bunch of phantoms, and it really made things pretty hard for me. But there was also some treasure that I was able to find because of that. I was able to find a second bonfire that you'll notice I don't get. It's actually right around the corner here, right behind that wall that the shortcut just dropped on. We fought the phantoms, got some treasure. There was a soul vessel, was probably the biggest thing that I was able to find here. I believe I have 2 of those in my inventory already from various other places. So, you know, allows me to respec a little bit if I decide I want to play around with something other than a Dex Faith build in the future. And lastly, one of the things that I did find while I was kind of going around looking for secrets and making sure that I've got this place completely cleaned out is, I found a cracked eye orb that was really unlike any other cracked eye orb that I found. I was unable to use it. Its use command is actually grayed out. And by looking at the description on that, and I believe the description on Velstad's soul, it makes reference to the other knight that is basically the right hand of the king, and that is Rame. And it says something about him being declared a traitor. So the cracked eye orb says something to the effect of that it's constantly looking for the traitor or a treacherous person or something like that. I don't remember exactly how it's worded, but it really makes me think that those 2 things are going to be connected in some way, so that I may need that orb to find out. And this is actually right here where I picked that particular orb up, is from that treasure chest. And it makes me think that might be the key to finding Rame. So now we're going into the Velstad fight, after we fight these grave guys here. This fight got a little complicated because I didn't realize I had to go back and kill the bell ringer guys who were under the stairs. There was one that kind of popped back up and he just kept ringing the bell. I thought maybe he would ring it once and then give up, and he just didn't. So those guys kept spawning. Eventually moved up here. There was a dragon rider flanked by 2 of the Sin Knights or Cyan Knights? I don't remember what they're called. Anyway, the Royal Guard sort of guys. So I was able to kill those guys off. We were able to summon Agdane here, and I still had Devotee Scarlet with me too, so we were able to go in with 3 people in the Velstad fight, which I really liked. As this kind of comes up to a quick fight, and we are coming up to the King Vendrick scene here, I just do want to say that this scene literally left me shaken and a little sick to my stomach, and I really want to give a shout out to FromSoft for punching me directly in the feels, so we'll let the scene play out. What is going on here? Are you an enemy? Well, now we've got the king's ring. Are you just... Wait a minute, are you King Vendrick? Are you King Vendrick? Defender of the king inside the Undead Crypt, Volstagg was always at the king's side, as if he were his lord's own shadow. After the king retired to the Undead Crypt, Volstagg followed, never to return. Oh my god, guys. think that's Vendrick. A soul is much like a curse, and those with strong souls must bear within themselves an even stronger curse. Vendrick, king of Drangleic, used a powerful soul to keep the curse at bay. In the end, he sought the flame that began it all. Oh my god. And you're just a shell. I wonder if we need to kill him. I mean, I wonder if I can. He didn't seem to have a life bar. I stabbed him a couple times before. Oh, Vendrick. Oh, Vendrick. Emerald Herald. Hi.
This ring is the symbol of the king. Use it to gain passage through the king's gate and venture to the far east. Bearer of the curse, if you are to be the next monarch, then one day you will walk those grounds without really knowing why.
You have a way of showing up when it is the most cryptic. Did you know about this? Did you know that this is what Vendrick was like? And if I'm to be the next king, is that my fate as well? And that's that. And, watching that scene again, honestly, just really churns my guts. So, wow. That's what happened to the king. Now at this point, we return to the Forest of Fallen Giants. We've got the King's Ring, so we can go ahead and open up all of the doors that are marked by the King's Seal. One in the Forest of Fallen Giants. In the future, there is one in the Shaded Woods, I remember. There's definitely one in Drangleic Castle. I'm sure I'm missing one or two, but I will have to go back and think about it. But at this point, I want to thank you all for sticking with me. I know this wasn't the usual video, but go ahead and punch that like button if you made it this far in the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss my next video. And until next time, don't forget to love one another and take it easy.